Hello, welcome back to part 15. It's 15 parts already of the platform tutorial. Before we get started, if you're finding any of this content useful, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. In today's episode, we are going to fancy up the title screen. So if we go back to layout 2, last time out we left off here with this title screen, this end screen to the level really. So when we finish the level, we know how many coins we've collected, how many enemies we've killed. I want to just make this a little bit prettier. I think we can play around with some tweening of this overlay with the squares. I want to put maybe a little border on it. We can put some of the other little features of the game in the background, which will be nice. One thing I do want to do today also is just with the HUD element here, this is the timer. I want to add some more time to the timer because 60 seconds just isn't enough to get to the end of the level to collect everything. So it does get a bit frustrating. And I also want to put a little bit of a background on that like we did with these squares, but I think maybe like a stopwatch. Once we've done that, if there's enough time left in the video, I want to add in a menu screen, so the screen that the player comes to. So instead of going straight to layer 1, we want to go to a menu screen where we can select play, maybe even some options where we can play around with the sound. We'll see how that looks as we go. And then that will probably be enough for today. So let's get straight in. First off, go to layout 2. First thing I want to do is I want to use this tile background that we've got here, which we haven't named. So we might as well just name that TV underscore HUD BG. And that'll just update. That'll update everywhere. So you don't need to worry about it. What I want to do here is I want to make this a lot bigger. So if we zoom out, probably about that, because I want it to just tween up here and then back again, nice and slowly. So it just gives a bit of a dynamic feel to the level. So let's go ahead and just put that into the code right now. So if we go back to the event sheet, we've got menu navigation, no, level exit, no. We'll create a new group for this. Add a group. We're going to call this titles. Titles is fine. Add event on titles. So system. Let's say, oh no, we don't need to go there. We need to go back to this. We need to give it the behavior first. We can't ask it to do something it doesn't know how to do. So add a behavior. Let's go and give it the tween behavior. There it is. So we're going to tween it. So when the level starts, when this layout starts, this is going to slowly tween up to the left and down. So back to the event sheet. We're going to say system on start of layout. I'm going to add an action. We're going to go into sprites. I'm going to find the tile background, HUD background. That's a lot to say. We're going to tween one property. We don't need a tag. This is a name you can give it if you want to reference it later on in the level or in different parts of the event sheet. You can give it a name, but it's going to be quite simple what we want to do, so I don't really need to give it a name. We're going to tween. In fact, we need to tween the X and the Y because it's going to be a diagonal movement. So let's go back. Instead of tween one property, we're going to tween two because we need to move it left and up at the same time. So yeah, position, that'll give us an X and a Y value. So what it's asking us to do is asking us to give the final position that we want it to be after the tween on the X and the Y. So I want to leave those at 0 for now because I don't know what those are going to be until I move the background around. And then we've got the time scale that we want that to happen in. So at the moment it's defaulted to 5 seconds. Then you've got ease, and there's a whole bunch of these you can choose from. For now, let's just leave it at linear. You can go in you can do in and out elastic, which will give it a bouncy feel. But for what we want, I just want it to smoothly move up and then smoothly move down. So I'm just going to click linear. Destroy on complete. No, we don't want to do that. And loop and ping pong. Maybe that'll kind of ping pong it back and forward. Let's just leave it all at the default for now, and then just move it and see what we've got. So leave that as it is, go back to layout 2, and then the end position I want to be here. So if you look at the width and the height, I want it to, sorry, not the width, the position, I want it to be -176 on the X and -128 on the Y. So let's go ahead and put those values in. So 176 and 128 minus 176 and minus 128. So in 5 seconds, this background is going to move from the bottom right to the top left. So if we go to layout 2, and don't forget we need to put it back because it's always going to start from its original starting position. So we test the level now. Yeah, it's going to go back, but I want it to move a lot slower than that. And obviously you'll see when it gets to the end, it's just going to stop. So I want to change that slightly. I want it to take twice as long. I want it to be a nice slow movement. So 10 seconds. Let's leave it at, let's go in, out, sinusoidal, or however you say it, sinusoidal. And let's go ping pong, which I think will make it go back and just kind of ping pong back and forward. But let's check it out. No, that's too slow. You see, it's not. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's change it to 7. Change it back to linear. Wait till it gets to the end. And it goes back. And then we'll wait and see if it goes back. And then it doesn't repeat. So we want it to repeat itself. So select loop to yes, destroy and complete no, and then leave it at that. And now what I want to do is go back to layout 2, and I want to grab another copy of this. So we can go back to the sprites. Let's just find it, TB HUD background, drag out another copy, and we're going to leave this one dark, but I want this one just to be a border. So we can put 1 there. Move it over just so it fits perfectly inside. You can hold down Command or Control and drag out a copy, bring it down to the bottom. That will be fine. Drag out another copy, and then we're going to put this one on the left side. Don't worry about the text for now. Drag out another copy, put it on the right hand side. Now we can just move this text around. So there, drop that down. Now play the level. Oh, we've added the behavior to the whole thing, so it's all moving left and right. We don't want that to happen. What we can do, instead of cloning this, and we've done this before, we've cloned it, like with the bombs, we just made a different one just for ease, but there's another way you can do it, which I'll show you now. If you click on the background, you can add an instance variable. Just call it number. Leave it at 0. And you'll notice that that instance variable is applied to all of these. So all we'll do is we're going to give this background one the number 1, and we're going to leave everything else as 0. So until we change these, we can give them all unique instance variable numbers, but we're going to leave them all for 0, and we're just going to call the background number 1. So now we can identify this. And again, there's different ways you can do this, like through the unique ID functions, but just because this is really, really simple, this is just a quick way to get it done. So all we need to do on start a layout now is create a sub event. And then on here, we go to the sprite, the tile background. So we're going to identify this particular sprite, and we're going to compare the instance variable. So if the instance variable is equal to 1, which it is because we gave the background 1, and the other one's 0, so it's only going to mention this one, then that's what we want to do to it. So because the others are 0, they're not going to move. And now the background does, and it all stays nice and in place. Although you've got this not quite lining up down here, which I don't like. So I'm going to just change that. But other than that, I quite like it. Go back to layout 2. Yeah, it's not quite lining up. So I'm just going to drag that in and drag that down. Drag that in and down. And I'm just going to drag that down 1. Yeah, it's a bit better. I mean, because of the layout size, it's not going to perfectly fit in, which is fine. But I'm okay with it. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. But I like it. Now we're gonna add some we're going to add some detail to the hills in the background. So what I want to do is I want to lock that so I can't access it, because that's overlaying on all of the images. So instead of moving it out of the way, I'm just going to right click and lock it, and you can just lock that individual item. Now what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to add some detail in to these. So in fact, what I might do is I might just lock all of this. In fact, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to move this out of the way for now, because I'm not sure I want to leave that where it is. With these hills here, do I want to bring them down a little bit? I think I might drag them down slightly into the water. I want to grab this sign that we moved in the last tutorial, and I want to put that in on the background as well. Maybe there, but I want to change the frame because I want it to say finish or exit, because we've completed the level, so it should say exit, which is fine. I also want this to go behind this overlay, so I kind of need this to be at the front again, but then if I bring it to the front, it's going to go over those. I think I'm going to need to put some new layers in, just because otherwise I'm going to be Z ordering everything back and forth. So right click over here, add a layer to the top, just call it layer 1, and I'm just going to add the overlay and the border to layer 1. So you click the overlay, so there's a blue line around it, hold down shift and just click on all of these borders, and then over here on layer, just select layer 1, and they'll all jump up to layer 1 on their own. So now I can hide it and lock it. So now that I'm only working on layer 0, which is exactly what I want. And then we'll put the overlay back on at the top. Although we want the level complete text to be on top of that. So let's add another layer, call it layer 2, close that. You can rename them if you want, but just for the sake of this, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to click on the level text, I'm going to click on this text, that, and I'm going to put all of these on layer 2. Perfect. And I'm going to lock it so I don't mess with it. Okay, now we've got the sign here, which is great. Let's put a few more bits. I'm going to put the player in. I'm going to put the player in. Oh, it's because I'm on layer 2 and I've got it locked. That's one thing I don't like. Layer 0 for the player. Let's lock layer 2. Make sure you've got the layer selected that you drag things onto. That can get a bit annoying. Let's put the player right by the exit, perhaps. It's quite nice. Let's get the door. Pop that on the hill side. Yeah, just over there. Yeah, it's all in line at the bottom there. So now we've got the door, the exit, the player. Let's pretty this thing up with a few hearts in the corner. I'm just going to rotate them slightly, and I'm going to drag out a copy, and I'm going to rotate it the other way. I'm going to drag out a copy, and in fact I might just keep it the same. I might keep it there as a little bit of a border. Let's bring an enemy. In fact, no, I'm not going to bring an enemy because they're coded to run around, which I don't want. I'm going to bring out some coins, which we can pop. I don't know. No, I think it's gonna look too messy if I do that. I think I'm just gonna leave the player and the exit sign and the door there. It'll just twinkle. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so they fell straight off the bottom. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller so they're kind of in the background, and I need to put a platform for this fella to walk on. So let's zoom in. I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to pop it up on the top of the hill. I'm going to shrink him down by the same. Remember, they've all got to be the same in terms of their size. Make sure you shrink them down so they don't look kind of like this. Easy way to do that is just hold shift, and then it'll always shrink it to the exact proportion that you want. Where I can put the door up on the ledge there, put the exit sign next to it, And I can actually bring him in front. Let's right click, bring the Z order, center top of layer. Just pop him there next to the door, as if he's ready just to go in, and the exit's over there. I like that, that's much better. But we do need to put down a ground so he doesn't fall. Now what I'm going to do with the ground is, because I don't want to see it, I'm just going to put one block there, and I'm going to leave it immovable, but I'm going to change the visibility to no. So it's just not going to be visible. And now I'll test the level, and he'll just stand there while he goes in the door. Over and over again. It's because he's colliding with it. I don't think it's because, and also we could probably just move him around using the default controls because it's the same player. So I think I'm just going to clone him. I'm going to clone object type, put him in there. I'm going to get rid of the original one. Now, because this one's got a different name, we'll change it to icon. So we know that this is the guy that's just going to stand there. There's no code that tells this guy to collide with this. I also want to get rid of his behaviors because he's just going to be effectively an image. So we're not going to need any of this on him. And now we can just pop him there. We're not even going to need that anymore. He's just going to sit there. This initial animation 1, yeah, that's fine. And also what I found was these are not inside the level, inside the layout for some reason. That's because of the border around the outside and that. Right, so we need to bring them in. Forgot to account for the border, so we can bring that in nicely around the text there, around the level complete text. In fact, I want to be able to turn the snap to grid off so I can move these as I want them. There, that's nice, like a little, oh, don't want that. Just like a little cluster. In fact, I'll probably bring them down because you can just highlight them all. I'll probably bring them down because the border is going to be at the top there as well, which I don't want. Let's bring them down right in line with the level, because we know the level complete text is in the right place. These guys need to come over. Let's just pop them on the second hill. There. The door obviously needs to be in the background, so we can bring the sign to the front. Pop that there. Pop him there. Now that should look a lot better. Well, it should do. Yeah, it's quite nice. I even quite like the hearts bouncing up and down there. Although these two are stuck together. I think I'll take that behavior off. So let's unlock layer 2. Bring that back in, keep that locked. Lock layer 0 now, which is the base layer. And now we can put in, we can snap this to grid again because we want it to be in line. Now we can put in our stats. And I don't think I like the yellow and the red text anymore. I've had a bit of time to look at it, and I'm not a big fan. So let's go back to white. And on the coins, let's go back to white. You can keep yours whatever color you want, but I don't like it. There, I'll justify that right, justify that left. I've got the little guy on the hill with his exit sign in the background. We've got level completed. Coins collected, enemies killed. We'll put another variable in for score at this point because we did have a score global variable, if you remember up here, which at the moment is just tracking coins based on one. I pick up a coin, get 1 in the score. But I also want to add to the score if we kill enemies because we should incentivize that. And I also want to detract from the score if we get hit. So there's an element of skill involved in terms of getting a high score on the level. So let's just. This is the general text. Let's just control command drag out a copy, and I'm gonna call this level score. Perfect. We need to right justify all of these. So select them all, come down here into the properties, justify it right, then drag it out a little bit, and then you can just line them up. They're all perfectly spaced. We need a new text box for this because we're tracking different things. So right click and clone it, just pop it in anywhere you like, line it up with level score, and change the name to text score. Now we can track the score effectively, which is quite nice. And I think I might do this whole row in a separate color because this is a slightly different metric that we're going to track. What about black? Level score. No, I think just a slightly grayer color. So just a little off-white, maybe that. No, I don't like it. Maybe a darker grey. That's definitely not what I want. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Play around with it, whatever you like the look of. It's your game, your color scheme. You can change it as you want to. Let's just take a look, see what it looks like. Yeah, I quite like it. I like the starry effect on the door. The little fella's just idling there. Got the exit sign. We've got level complete, coins collected, enemies killed, level score. Now let's code in to the event sheet how we're going to increase the score. So let's start with enemies. So collisions, on collision with blast. So when okay, we can actually put that in the enemy death. Yeah, so when we kill an enemy, whether we drop a bomb on their head or it kills them in a blast, we're going to add 1 to kills. We're also going to add 1 to score, or we can add 2 to score. I think it should be higher value for killing an enemy as to collecting a coin, because it's a little bit trickier to kill an enemy. So you get 2 for your score, you get 1 for picking up a coin. You're going to get 1 point for picking up a bomb. So click back on event sheet 1, collectibles. When we collect a bomb, we're going to add 1 to bombs, but we're also going to add 1 to score. Add score 1. So we get a point for picking up a bomb, we get a point for picking up a coin, and we get 2 points. Or we need a point for picking up a heart. No, actually, because if we're full on hearts, I don't think we want to penalize the player for not being able to get that score. So we're going to leave hearts as just health. Let's go back to the player death. Player on collision with enemy bullet. Enemy bullet destroy, player flash. Let's subtract 1 from the score. So if we get hit, obviously we're going to lose our life, our heart, but I also want to subtract from. I also want to lose 1 point on the score. So we get hit, lose a point on the score. If we die, I think the score should go back to 0. That's pretty harsh, or maybe we should lose a point if we die. Yeah, maybe not set it all the way back to 0. So if health is less than or equal to 0, call player death. So in the player death function, if we die, yeah, we reset the health back to 3. But let's just take a point off. Again, you can play around with these to create difficulty, you know, and the reward system that you want in your own game. But I'm just going to subtract 1. So if you lose a heart, you lose 1. If you lose all 3 hearts, you've lost 3. But then you call the player death function, which loses another 1, which is 4. So effectively, it could effectively go into the minuses on the score, which we don't want to do. So we're going to set in the event sheet 1 under initialize. We're going to say text score. No, we're going to go system. Sorry, we're going to compare variable. We're going to say if score is less than or equal to 0, because we don't want it to be a minus. We're going to set. Oh, sorry. We're going to go and set the value of score to 0. That way, it's never going to go below 0. Now, every tick, like we're doing here, we're going to set that score text to display the score variable. So same as before, text score, set text, and delete that, and then just start typing in score, and it's the one with the globe. You know this by now. So we're going to set the score to display score. Obviously, we're not displaying that in the HUD. Up here, we just got the timer and the bombs and the hearts. You can, if you want to, put that text in there, but I kind of want it to be a bit of a surprise at the end. I don't want the player to see the score going up and down based on how they're doing in the game. I think it'll just be distracting, just seeing that number go up and down, and then the player's going to think, well, why did that just jump up 1, or why did I get 2 and then lose 1? I'd rather at the end of the level just say, right, this was your score based on how you did. So I'm going to leave it out. Again, you can put it in if you want, it's up to you. And then we've displayed that. I also want to put in a multiplier, a score multiplier. So when the player reaches the exit, I want to add to the score if they have 3 hearts. So if they get to the exit and they have full health, then they get extra score for that, because that, in this level, as you can tell by all my playthroughs, is a challenge. So on collision with the exit, all this is going to happen. So what we want to do is add a sub event. And we want to say, on collision with exit, let's compare the health variable. So we're going to say, if health is equal to 3, well, let's say greater and equal to, it's not going to make any difference, but greater or equal to 3, then we want to copy all of this, drag it down, so it's not in there anymore. So first of all, we're just going to check that. When we play with that, then it's going to go into the next sub event. So it's going to say, if the health is greater or equal to 3, we can do all of this and add to score 3. Let's add 3 to the score. And then I want to copy this, all of it. So copy the whole block. So you can just click anywhere in here, Control C, Control V, and then we're going to say, we could do if health is less than 3, but what I think might work better is just do an else statement. So just click in there, push X, or you can right click and just add else. So if it's greater or equal to 3, do this. If it's anything else, then do this. So all we're going to do is copy all of that again, hold down Control or Command, drag it down to make a copy. So we're going to do it all except add 3. So it's just going to go to the level anyway. So it's when we hit the level, we're going to do one or two things. We're going to do this if it's 3 or more on the health, or we're going to do that if it's not. And I think, let's save it. And let's try it out. Now I've got to complete the game. You can fast forward past this if you want. But I took a hit, but I killed one. Oh goodness. I don't have any bombs. Need that heart. Jump over that. Go back up. Oh, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to run out of time and have to do the level again. Let's go this way. Get over here. Go up to there. Get the coins. And get out. And now give me a score. What's my score? 15, there you go. So it's worked out a bunch of stuff based on how I played. So that's great, I like that. I'm gonna keep that in as it is. Obviously, the more you play through, the better. And then you can kind of test out picking up bombs, killing more enemies, see if you can get a maximum score, see what that would look like in terms of if I kill every single enemy, don't take a hit, collect all the coins, then we can see what that maximum score could look like. But yeah, 15 is good. Right, what I wanna do now is add more time to that timer. So back in event sheet number 1, so the timer at the moment is at 60 seconds. So let's give ourselves twice that long because I want to give the player a little bit more time to explore the level. 120 seconds to go. And then we can go down here and we can say, if timer equals 0, set game to false, call player death, and then under player death, we reset the timer back to 120 rather than 60, and then that gives us a little bit more time. So we play it, we should be able to see, yeah, 120, although it's just getting cut off on the screen there. So that's because we need to expand the text box. The text box isn't big enough, so just drag it out to the side, and then it'll give it a bit more space to build up the time. Now let's create a little sprite to make this a little prettier. We did these boxes here, 32, oh no, 28 by 28. Let's keep that the same. Right click, clone it, stick it in here. SPR, time frame. Right click on the text here, just bring it to the front. This is on the items layer, it needs to be on the HUD layer, don't forget that, that's important. And then bring this to the front again. so that that fits in behind it. That's perfect. So you see, remember, we've got the level cut off, which is this. You can just about make it out, this dashed line along here, and then it goes up here. So that's where, well, basically where the edge of the HUD is, that's where the screen cuts off. So that's in a good position. This needs to be in the middle, and it's the reason it's not aligning to the middle now is because we've got a grid of 8x8. If we change that to 4x4, that will snap perfectly to the middle. Let's just test it to see if that looks okay when we play the game. Yeah, that looks really nice. I like that up there. I do want to make this a bit more of a stopwatch though. I don't think it should be the same, just the same box. Or maybe it should. Maybe if you like it, you can keep it the same. I'm gonna change the artwork on mine. I want it to look a bit more like a clock, rather than just another generic box at the top there. But I'm gonna leave it up to you. If you don't want to do this, then don't. Just skip ahead. It's fine. I'm gonna double click in mine so I can edit it. I'm gonna change the background color to dark. That's just Control B or Command B on the keyboard. Right, so what I want to do with mine, let's get the eraser. I'm just going to take the corners out to give it more of a rounded feel. We'll do it 2, and maybe 3 there. Take that one out there. We get the white. I think I'll fill it all in. I think I'm going to get the basic outline first. So I'm going to take it round again. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to take about half of it and I'm going to drag it down 1. Leave the bottom as it is, just because I want there to be a couple of buttons on the top. Drag it down 1 more. Go back with my white. I want 1 there. I want to come in the same distance on that side. Don't want to do that. And then I want 1 there. So I've got 2 little buttons. Then what I want to do is keep that white outline. So just come in around to there. That's great. Now I'm going to fill in that middle section. I like it. And then let me just see what I've got in terms of color. So I've got that brown color here that I want to utilize just to keep the consistency the same. And obviously we've got black as well. Oh, not the time. This brown color we'll put in the middle there. And then we'll get the black. Oh, could just use the line tool, but how steady is your hand? Draw that across. Come up there. And then what I'll do at the top, I think I'm going to use white. In fact, what I want to do, so I go back to black. I want the outer bit here to be black. Or do I? I don't want it. No, I want the outer bit to be brown, like it is on the other ones. Then I want to go back to white, and I just want to put an indication up here. I want to go right in the middle, which is these two. I want to go right in the middle there, and I want to go right in the middle here, and right in the middle there, and right in the middle there. So it looks like a bit of a clock. Again, this might not be the best looking clock in the world, but I'm kind of happy with it. There. That's what I'm going to go with. If you can make a better one, then more power to you. That's what mine's going to look like. Yeah, I don't like the white dots. I think we need less white. It's distracting. It's taking away from the time. Let's get rid of some of those white dots. I'm trying to overcomplicate. I'm trying to be too arty. That's one of my biggest problems. I'm just too arty. I also want to extend this out one more on each side there. And then bring that in. One more there. And maybe there. And there. No. Just on the inside. And maybe there. Because it's just one white line, isn't it? Why are we doubling up on white lines? There. Okay, we can play around with it all day long. That's much better. Let me just take a look. Yeah, it's all right. I've got one last idea though. I think it's a bit predominant. Bear with me. I know that we faff, we talk. I'm waffling on again. I want to change the size. I want to change the size to 5. I don't want that. And then I want to come in, and then I want to shrink it down, and I want to put it right in the top left. Then I want to put that right in the middle. Oh, my mouse. And then I'm going to have to change this to 2 by 2 to get it right in the middle. There. Oh, stop it. Put this back to 8 by 8 so the grid isn't too tiny. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And that's going to be my HUD, my timer. I'm not going to play it again. Okay, I like it. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment down below in the comments if you found the video useful and you're still here at this point. Thanks very much for sticking around through all the waffling and chit-chatting. I like the level. We've added the score element there. We will do the title screen in the next episode. I promise we're going to do that straight away. First job, next episode. The menu screen with the start game, which will get us into the game, and then this one will show us at the end how we've done, and then we're going to add, we'll add a button. We'll do it in the next one because this one's getting quite long. We'll add a little button that says click to play the next level like we did before, or continue, or next level, whatever it might be. Might even do it on a sign. I don't know. We'll see how we go. And then we'll start building level 2 in the next episode. How exciting. Thanks for sticking around if you've got this far, and I'll see you in the next one.